we are now going live. Welcome, one and all, to Film Banter, episode 31.
People of Earth.
What's that?
People of Earth.
I hear it.
Are you there?
I hear it. It's coming closer.
Are you here?
Where could it be?
Can you hear me?
Oh, I see. A presence
We are
before me.
episode 30
One.
of Film Banter.
31.
I have been taken over by alien forms. I am unable to retrieve my body at present moment. Please help me. Someone. Help me. Help. Help me. Help me. I am here to speak to the planet. You must alleviate the leaders of this planet immediately.
I'll be over
They
here.
must be destroyed. They must be taken. Ow! 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 Ow!
What?
Ow! That hurts.
What is your problem?
It hurts.
What hurts?
I've been probed. I've been probed.
Are you sure that that's what you're feeling and it's not just a hemorrhoid?
No. I've
Get it
gotta
out.
Pull it out.
You have to pull it out from the right side. That's where I can
can't.
see it. Oh my god.
Ah! Jesus!
Ah! Ooh!
I've been
Oh!
probed.
Oh! Oh! Put that, get that out of here. That, oh, it stinks.
Oh, it smells good
It
though.
really stinks. What did you eat? Is that halibut? Is
It
that?
smells nice.
Oh my god.
If only somebody was smart enough to operate the fart machine, it
Oh,
would be right
oh,
on
you
cue.
mean this thing over here? Oh, oh. This is pure
People
camp.
of Earth. It's me, your humble co-host, along with my dear friend, Mr. Pickris Card.
It's getting better.
I've got to get out of this. Oh.
Where is my co-host? Bring him to me. I demand my co-host. Well, in the meantime, folks, while we wait for my co-host to hopefully materialize, we welcome you to episode 31 of Film Banter, as I was trying to say before. If you want to communicate with us during the show, please send us an email, filmbanter@gmail.com. Oh, wait, what is this? Hey, how you doing, man?
Oh, that hurts so bad.
How you been?
I can't sit down for a week.
Well, do you want one of those little cushion pillows to sit
Do you
on?
have one?
I don't.
Oh, I need one now.
I hope
It
you have
hurts
one.
so bad.
How about in your bedroom? Do you have a
I've
pillow
been-
you can use?
Oh, maybe. I've been probed.
Well,
There's nothing worse than a probe.
maybe you shouldn't be so appealing.
I used to drive a probe back in the 90s. I used to call up my girlfriend and say, "Hi, honey, I'll be over with my probe in just a moment."
And did she respond well to that?
She did indeed.
Really?
And she enjoyed that quite effervescently, if I may
Okay.
say.
Well, she
Well,
was a woman
anyway-
of simple tastes.
Well, thank you for that.
You're very
I
welcome.
needed that. And here I am because the lights are so bright here, and my albino type eyes
I know.
must adapt. So here we are for episode 31
31.
of
Know that.
our beloved show that airs
Once a
weekly
week?
on TubeU,
On
which
YouTube.
is how you say, "Hey, TubeU, buddy."
If
Hey.
you guys don't know, check out
TubeU.
Film Banter on YouTube. It's
It is there
It's a
for
lot
all
of fun.
to
It's
see.
more fun than the live stream. There's just a lot of cool stuff we do to it afterwards after we stream live. So definitely check it out.
Oh,
But anyway, we're going to start right away.
oh, that hurts.
I do want to see how you're feeling. Are you going to make it through the show?
I don't know.
I don't think your little thing's working over there.
Oh, well, that's what she said to
yeah,
you.
I know. Well, you know, you're the one that's in your golden
All right.
years here.
Oh, it's just that
Speak for
probe.
yourself.
And probe hurts so bad.
I know.
Oh,
Oh, well, that's going to
I'm
happen.
sorry. I'm
That
so
comes with the
sorry,
probe, that
everybody.
territory
I do
Will
apologize
be explored.
for that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it's good to be here. We have a big show for
We
you
do.
all. No,
So
not
we
really.
say, not
We
really. It's
don't.
okay.
It's not-
This honestly was a very weak week at the theaters, to say that.
It wasn't a bad week at the theaters. We didn't get to see some of the things that we possibly would have liked to. I
Yeah.
wanted to go see The Promise.
Well,
this
so did
week.
I, only because of the cast.
But,
the subject matter does not really interest me.
But of course,
Oh, that's nice. That's new.
this is in honor of Deadpool 2. Of
Yes,
course,
it's coming out
to theaters.
2018.
Yes, another year. Mr. Ryan Reynolds.
Did you
and-
see who they announced is going to be playing Cable?
I did. Who is
There was
it?
vast speculation that it was going to be in any number of actors, but it's now been confirmed that it will be Josh Brolin playing Cable. So that should be interesting. And he signed a multi-picture deal, as they all do.
As they all do.
Because his character will be jumping in and out of other franchises as well, not just Deadpool.
Well, there you go.
His character apparently is a time traveler. I don't really know much about him, but it's a cool character.
Well, that's
Cable,
good.
yeah.
All right.
Should be
Very
neat.
good.
But
It's funny
anyway,
you say that because, I think it was this morning or the day before, I had to lay a little cable. Oh, gee.
oh, you clogged it up that much, huh?
Every once in a while.
Oh, you got to get that little
there's
snake in
there's
there?
a bit of a, sort of a glow to my to my rotundery. But anyway, I want to say hello to all those people. People,
watching.
I'd like to give a big hello to the Max too. So
Yeah,
here
I
we
would
are
too.
all.
I hope he's watching.
We're here once again. Well, people to the max.
Oh, to
Not
the max.
just Max.
Oh,
But
people to the
No,
max.
of course that was a subtle.
It was
way
a
of
play
saying-
on words,
It was
what
a
you were
subtle way
doing.
of saying hello to Max, but then
Yes.
you had to broadcast it and make it clear that we were talking to you, my dear friend.
Yes, well,
But anyway, we are here tonight, and so I want you to begin the beginning.
I'm going to right now.
Our show begins with
With a
a
film
show,
called The Vessel.
A film that I saw last week. It was
film
called
that I saw
The Vessel.
This
correct?
past few days. This film takes place in Puerto Rico. A tsunami,
10 years after a major
as we
tsunami.
learned, a tsunami wiped out a lot of this town, especially at elementary school. A lot of the town's children
It killed
were
them.
killed. They were killed,
All the
and everybody
students
has been left to
were
just utter despair.
Correct.
And so we follow our main character right away, who an event occurs, and people think that he is now gifted with some otherworldly abilities. They think he's very special.
What
and
event occurs?
Well, I don't want to really give away what happens.
Well,
Something
that's at
happens.
the beginning of the film.
Yeah, but I don't want to give it away. Something happens. Because I went into the movie not knowing what happens.
Oh.
Something happens to make the village people think that he might be more than what he says he is.
Oh, I see.
And can
Well, I think
possibly...
you could probably tell that, Bo.
He has a near-death experience, fine. I just didn't
Okay.
want to give it away. Because I like people not knowing
Very
anything.
well, very
Because
well.
I didn't know going into it. And I
All
thought that was refreshing.
All right, then do it.
You know, you and I always discuss trailers give away too much. So I don't want to give away
I
too
agree.
much.
Okay.
Anyway.
but I think you should tell that. That's a major. That's the
Yeah,
beginning of the film.
but the whole point is
so
that...
the man is thought of as a kind of a
Yeah,
semi-god and so forth.
But that can be given away. That can
Okay.
be explained without telling them that he had a near-death experience.
Okay.
People have this perception of the man, and so that changes their view of him. And so that's when the story starts going forward. And one of the other main characters in the film is played by Martin Sheen. He plays a local priest, obviously an American kind of expatriate.
Yes.
Who goes and just lives amongst these people in Puerto Rico. It's a very small town, very mountainous, right on the water. It's a beautiful landscape. And that's how the film goes from there. And different things happen, this and that, without us getting into it. But
it's kind of a religiously toned drama.
yeah, Catholicism more than anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is a religious film.
What I took away from this film is that it's breathtaking to look at. It's beautiful.
It is.
It's a beautiful film. He and I briefly discussed amongst ourselves that it was very reminiscent of a Terrence Malick film, a very visual avant-garde filmmaker who we discuss often on this show, as you may or may not know, who most recently, a couple weeks ago, we discussed his newest film, Song to Song.
We did.
Terrence Malick's films are very meandering. They're very voiceover heavy. They're very beautiful to look at. He loves shooting architecture. He loves shooting nature. But his films do not necessarily have a cohesive storyline all the time that carries the viewer forward. Where this film, The Vessel, does have a storyline that does, get us invested in the characters.
Invested into the characters.
Yeah, and so I found that to be refreshing. And it's funny, as you mentioned to me when you first watched this film, when you get to the credits, you find that, oh, what do you know? Who's an executive producer?
I know.
Terrence Malick. So I did do a little researching, and I can see that the filmmaker here, the writer-director, has worked with Terrence before behind the scenes. So they obviously have rapport, so he probably helped get this movie made by being an executive producer.
Correct.
So it's a simple film. It's very, very well made. The characters are, I don't want to say simple people, but they're townspeople. They're fishermen.
They're fairly
they're in the
simple people.
village.
I think that's a fair assessment.
There's a romantic undertone that runs throughout the film. Grief, mourning, almost redemption. All those kind of things are elements of the storyline. And I thought Martin Sheen was excellent as this priest. I thought he did a good job.
He makes a lot of religious films these days.
Does he?
He does indeed.
Okay.
His last 3 or 4 films.
Okay.
But
I like
the last
him.
one was The Path.
Oh yes, I remember The Path when that
Him
came out.
and just a group of people are
Yeah,
walking
yeah.
somewhere and so forth. But
Was that the one that was directed by his son Emilio? The Path.
very possible.
I think it was.
Very
And that was
possible.
like a '90s film.
Well, I'd like
sure.
I'd like to.
But yeah,
mention-
what did you think about The Vessel?
Well, I love The Vessel in just terms of Terrence Malick, a very visual director that he is. So he tells a story as much visually as he does through dialogue. In fact, as you just said, this film is even more prevalent as just a pure storyline because we do have dialogue. But it's just a beautiful film to look at. It's a postcard kind of a film, if you will. You're not going to take a real lot away from this movie, I think. The ending is a bit moving at times, and it's about a very sad village who have undergone a very sad experience with the loss of all the children through the tsunami. And we just kind of go from there, and there's our movie. I liked it very much. I did.
Yeah,
I found
I
it
enjoyed
very
it. It was refreshing,
entertaining.
I thought.
It was refreshing. It's beautiful. We're right on the beach. We're right on the water. There's just a lot of great scenarios where we're just people walking through water, looking at their feet, and seagulls, and great sunsets, and yet the story is intriguing. There's a bit of a love story that goes on in there also, and I wholeheartedly enjoyed it.
Yeah, and there's the big thing we didn't mention was that one of the things that happens during the film is, and this is something that was, it happens very early on, so it's not like a spoiler, but the remnants of the children's school, the elementary school, are used by the main character, who's very good, by the way.
Yeah, he is very good.
He makes it into a makeshift boat, hence a boat, hence the vessel. You know, he makes
a boat
this
or a boat?
Boat.
Is it a boat?
I don't know why I said vote.
Is it a vote?
You know why? Because I said boat, but I used a V, vessel, and I said vote. It's kind of silly.
Okay.
It's a brain
So
fart.
if you're talking like about, like let's say you want to go in your car and your car happens to be like a BMW, you might say it's a VMW.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you want to just check out this movie, feel free.
Check it out. It's quite
I would recommend it.
entertaining.
If you
It's
catch it
a
on
lovely
TV or
movie.
on demand, feel free to watch. It's fairly new.
It's not totally engrossing, and you're not going to sit there on the edge of your seat. It's not a commercial film by any means.
No. It's an art film, but it's a pleasant one. So
Yes. Bless you, my children. So you shall be blessed if you watch.
we're going to move on to a piece of animation that Daryl watched. I did not see it.
Daryl watched?
I said
Who?
Daryl.
No, you said Daryl.
Daryl.
Daryl watched?
Daryl.
In his VMW.
Daryl.
I don't have a VMW, but if I did, if I had DV, that would mean I had a denarial for these.
If you have a VMW, maybe you have a BMW that you vomited into.
Very possible indeed. Well, all right, I'm going to now talk about Kubo and His Two Strings.
Yes, you
This
are.
is an animated film. This was made in America by American folk. It was not a Japanese-made film, as I originally thought it was to be, but it is not. It stars Charlize Theron. It stars Ralph Fiennes as the elder wise grandfather character, and Matthew McConaughey, who I must be honest, I did not even recognize his voice. I sat and watched the first maybe hour of this film, or 45 minutes or so. I didn't even know it was Matthew, because he changed the tone of his voice. Plus, he doesn't use his southern drawl at all.
Good.
None of that all right kind of thing, kind of vernacular like Matthew does. He didn't play a good old boy. He just does a straight talk. And I did not even know it was him. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I love this film. I am not an animated guy, but since Beauty and the Beast, since Beauty and the Beast, I've really been enjoying animated films again, and I have a
That's
second
good.
animated film coming up in tonight's show. However, my thoughts on that are not as ribald as they are for the deluxe and beautiful Kubo and the Two Strings. Kubo and the Two Strings, I'm not even going to go into plot so much, it's not even important. It's a journey film. It's about a young little boy. His mother is washed up on a beach at the beginning. The father is dead, we find out. He goes to the village, and he performs, and he has this lute, or light, or I think it's a lute. And it's a Japanese instrument. It's got 3 or 4 strings on it, and it's just that ding, 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 ding sound. And when Kubo plays his 2 strings like in a Pete Townsend kind of a blah, we won't get fooled again, the whole crowd goes berserk because he creates a mini tsunami every time he does that.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But the beautiful thing about this film is it's basically, in all retrospect and all concept, and this simply came to me while watching it, it's truly indeed a remake of The Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
Is exactly what it is. Little Kubo goes on. We don't have our third character where Dorothy had her lion, her Tin Man, her scarecrow.
Yeah.
With this, we just have a creature device. Now, Kubo carries around these little things with him, these little tokens, if you will. And one of them is a major human being in his life, and I'm not going to give that away. And then when he plays his lute, these little creatures kind of come to life and so forth. But we have Rooney Mara is also in this film.
She's in everything.
She's in everything. Just, it's funny. I opened up my refrigerator the other day. There she was, eating the yogurt, sitting in my fridge. I couldn't take it.
Somebody's
Rooney,
gotta eat
get
it.
out of my refrigerator. Why are you everywhere I look? But I'll tell you something, this movie, she plays the 2 sisters,
Okay.
who are basically the Wicked Witch of the West and the Wicked Witch of the East, who are
Okay.
the evil twin sisters,
Gotcha.
who are coming after Kubo to demise him. And I really enjoyed this film. It is such a lovely thing to watch. It's so amazingly. I will say this: it took me approximately, just due to the alienism of the Japanese culture that is presented to we, and I do use my hands a lot. I know it quite a bit. That I do like to, it's like I'm talking in, kind of a thing. But because of the Japanese culture, I suppose I was a bit intimidated, and part of my brain was just saying, I don't really know if I want to watch this film. Yeah. I kind of want to maybe I'll just put on...
I mean, it didn't appeal to me because,
I'll put on,
I'm kind of with you on animation.
Yeah, it's got to be really special. But
yeah, I agree.
I was looking at some of the reviews. Of course, the reviews are off the Richter scale.
Very good reviews.
This movie was nominated for Best Animated in the Academy
and it's a stop
Awards.
action,
it
which
almost
is
won. Yeah,
incredible.
It's a Pixarian kind of a look to it. It is so beautiful. I watched it in 3D. My little mind just went boom.
I really applaud.
Like Kristen Stewart would say, like my brain just went boom.
I really applaud people that do animation. I give them as much props as I can because it's the most tedious labor of love in the filmmaking world.
It is indeed.
It is so time consuming, and especially stop action.
Well, true.
Because
but nowadays computers take over that CGI.
No. Stop action is still done the old way, where it's 24 frames every
per second.
So every second of film, there's 24 pictures.
Well, imagine making King Kong back in 1933.
Right? Amazing.
When they had to stop action. Literally every movement of that 18-inch model of King Kong.
It's insane.
But I'll tell you something. I love this movie. I really did.
I'm glad you did.
It was very moving. It's all about. It's about family and the love of family.
Yeah.
I truly enjoyed it.
That's great.
I did. I will watch this film again.
Okay.
I will.
And maybe one day I will watch it because, this is interesting.
It is on our beloved Netflix right now.
You can find it on Netflix.
And you can find it probably,
or at your local Redbox, whatever
local place that
whatever your choice.
Whatever you might like to go, that's what it is.
All right, we're going to move on if you're done.
Let's move on.
Okay. The third film is now playing in limited release. I'm not sure if it's going to go wide. I hope it does because I enjoyed it. It's called Colossal.
And it stars the lovely
Anne Hathaway.
Did she go this away or Hathaway?
I know. But now you can do that.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, so it stars...
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm being yelled at for doing a little... Yeah. Oh, you do it too much.
You did it like 80 times last episode.
But we needed every one of those.
No, we didn't.
I know you people are hanging on the infringement of the little...
You did it last week like, I had a bagel for lunch, but I'm bummed. I mean, it was like that insignificant.
Oh.
Anyway.
I didn't realize
it doesn't matter.
Well, did it cheese your cream?
No.
That little bagel?
So, Colossal, yes, it stars Anne Hathaway, Jason Sudeikis. I believe there's a few other actors that I will think of in a moment.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't. It kind of does.
No, it doesn't.
Tim Blake Nelson is another one.
Anne Hathaway. That's all you need to know.
If you don't know, if you haven't seen a trailer, it's a very, very simple, I would say a high concept film.
Oh.
Anne Hathaway is a regular American girl who is going through I don't want to say midlife crisis, but she's definitely depressed and going through a trying time in her life.
Yeah.
And she suddenly realizes that while South Korea, specifically Seoul, is being attacked by a giant monster, like in real life,
Really?
She finds out that she, oh my God, is controlling this creature unknowingly.
This is a horror movie?
It's a sci-fi comedy.
Did it remind you of Saw at all?
No.
This particular film,
It
Saw.
didn't. Not one bit. No.
Let's play a game.
Let's not.
All right, so go ahead.
So, this film is a hell of a good time.
A hell of a good time.
I loved it. The theater that I was in, everybody really enjoyed it.
Wow.
There are some huge laughs in this movie.
No kidding.
It's an absurd premise.
Wow.
But it's so simple, and it really works. Anne Hathaway, I thought, did an excellent job. She's very well cast. She plays this woman who's just lost in her life.
Yeah.
She's depressed. She's an alcoholic. Her relationship is a mess.
Sounds like me.
Yeah. Oh, who plays her ex-boyfriend in the movie? The new counterpart, you can almost say, to Rooney Mara is Dan Stevens, who's in everything now.
He's in everything now.
Mr. Beauty and the Beast.
I know. He's a beastie boy.
And so in the film, she goes back to her old hometown, and that's where she rekindles a friendship with Jason Sudeikis, who is a childhood friend. He owns a local bar. Tim Blake Nelson, who is her friend as well from the town. He's more friends with Jason Sudeikis than anything.
Right.
He's kind of a local, I don't want to say a loser, but he's kind of a miscreant. He's another actor who you've seen in a million movies. I put his face in post-production over there
All right.
afterwards. But this is a really entertaining film. It's one of those word-of-mouth films that I think is the only way it's going to get audiences to discover it. And I really enjoyed it. It is just refreshing because it goes in directions where you don't expect it to. Just when you think you know where it's going to go, it goes in another direction.
Oh, how nice. It went this way or
it's
half
just
away.
a blast.
Really?
Colossal
I'm
is
shocked.
a blast.
I had no idea it was
Yeah.
a sci-fi kind of movie.
Yeah,
I
mean, it's got this big monster with horns and a tail attacking South Korea, and everybody in the world is watching it live on TV, and they're
Was it
astounded.
orange face with orange hair?
No, it wasn't. Not like
Because
you.
that is who is attacking Korea right now.
I know. You're right. No, it's not. It's just a lot of fun. I can't recommend Colossal enough.
Really?
Check it out.
How
It's
exciting.
playing at Palisades in Nyack. I actually saw it in Montclair, where it's playing down there.
chat.
Oh yeah.
Big chat. I'm sorry.
So check out Colossal. I really want
like
people
to
to know
see
about
it.
this movie. I really think you'd get a kick out of it.
I think
It's
I'd
right
get
up
a
your alley.
kick out of it.
Yeah. Can I just do this and then let go?
No, please don't.
I won't.
It will hurt my face.
I know, and your feelings.
And my feelings.
'Cause you are
too.
fragile.
I am fragile. And
But
very
anyway,
sensitive.
that's the premise. There's not much more to say other than it's great. And Jason Sudeikis is just very impressive in this movie.
You know, he's impressive at almost everything he does.
He
I
does
have
a
to
great
say.
job in this film. He plays a guy who's you slowly meet him and you think he's one thing, and then you learn more about him, and he becomes something else. And it's very interesting. He does a really good job in this film. It's just fantastic. I applaud Colossal. Ugh. Ugh. All right, we're going to move on
Alrighty.
to your review of
Alright.
Boss Baby.
All right, I shall review Boss Baby.
Boss Baby.
Boss Baby is a baby type film.
Yeah.
It's about babies, and it's about
Another
a baby that's
animated
like
film.
a boss.
Another animated
Like
film.
a baby that's a boss. Oh, God, I think there's another one here. Let me just pull it out. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus, that's so painful. They pulled me. Have you
You
ever
know-
been pulled?
Not in that way.
Yeah, well, you know.
You got to really start wearing
time
lead
it.
underwear, so they can't do this to you so
really,
often.
I think so. You know, it's quite right indeed. And but okay, let's talk about Boss Baby.
Please do. I
Well,
can't
my
wait.
hair almost looks fake today, but it is my real hair.
He does wear a wig every week.
No, I never do. I should though. Okay, Boss Baby. This is a film starring Alec Baldwin.
I don't think we need to describe the premise at all. Everybody knows it.
No, we do actually. It's about a family who gives birth, and they're visited by this boss baby, played by Alec Baldwin. This all takes place in like a baby factory where babies are mass produced. If babies, they're given tests. This is all in the pre-embryonic stage.
Interesting.
There's actually kind of a rather sci-fi plot to this whole
I was
thing.
going to say, this sounds a little sci-fi.
It's very sci-fi, but this movie is so unbearable to watch. It
looks unbearable.
You know, there's just you know, the old Warner Brothers cartoons. It almost resembles that in a way. I mean, just the very the nature of the cartoon drawing has an Elmer Fudd kind of look to it. And so therefore I...
You trying to find your good
no,
side?
it's on the phone
Keep
while
looking.
my hair looks so weird here. It really looks strange to me. I don't know why. Let me put on my 3D glasses here for me. But yeah, there's something about this film that I really found just distasteful. I didn't care for it.
You know who liked Boss Baby?
Who?
Max liked Boss Baby.
No, Max, not
did.
you.
He did.
Max, no, tell me you didn't.
He is 7.
I don't
Going
care,
on 8.
But he's 7 going on 49.
That's okay.
Well, listen, you know, maybe it was a very complex film, I have to say.
Which is surprising.
I was very surprised at literally how ingenious, how much work went into the structuring of plot in this film. I mean, there's stuff that's going on that's constantly just, this happens. Every 5 seconds there's a new little plot twist. I found it exhausting. Max, I love you, my man, but I found it exhausting. I did. I found it to be just so tiring that I'm going to take off my 3D glasses and just punch myself in the face. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, there's more horses' asses than horses in our planet. But,
Fair enough.
you know,
I won't dispute
I
that.
cannot recommend this film. I could recommend this movie to Max.
To young children.
To a young person.
Children, somebody under 12?
A person under 12, I would say even a person under 5 or 6 would not get it. There's a very slim line. This is a very sophisticated intellect of a film.
Are there a lot
going
of
on
jokes
there.
for adults in there that adults would get?
This is more so an adult film than it is a kid film.
Okay.
It's just the pace of the film is so kid oriented.
Yeah.
Because it is just so. It is for people with ADD.
Yeah,
With
yeah,
just a total attention deficient. No offense to you, my friend. Well, anybody who loved this film. But I found it tough to watch. It's tough to sit through. It was exhausting. I didn't really know half the time what. I mean, I knew what was going on, and I know that he hates his little boss baby. Then he loves the little boss baby. Little boss baby takes him over to the factory where Steve Buscemi is in this film. Also,
Oh, really?
Lisa Kudrow plays the mother of the babies. And,
What does Steve Buscemi play?
Steve Buscemi plays the big fat boss baby.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a big fat boss baby. There's boss babies and boss baby. Then there's the big fat boss baby. He plays him.
Is he the boss baby that the other boss babies answer to?
Yes, he's the big fat boss baby.
Oh, big.
Correct.
Okay, I got you.
And he talks like Steve Buscemi. Many people have told me in my life I talk just like Steve Buscemi. I have
never
that
thought
nasal
that.
voice. Yeah, that kind of thing going on where,
Why are you nasal? Did you break your nose as a kid?
No, I'm not. Well, it all depends on which part of my person I speak out of.
But if I do talk normally and Daryl...
Like when people used to do impressions of me, and people have always done impressions of me everywhere I work.
Well, you
in
are
my
very
life,
impressionable.
I'm very impressionable upon people. So and
You're memorable. I'll give
and
you
if I
that
jump
one.
on them, I'm very.
You know, years ago when I first got to know you, when you used to come into the restaurant that I used to work at,
You mean Chili's?
14 years ago, Chili's.
Dude, Chili. It's me from Chili.
Some of the people said, "Your friend is here." I'm like, "Which friend? The one with the hair?" I'm like, "Oh, I know who
The
that
one
is."
with the hair.
They're like, "We've never seen a hairstyle like that."
Well, if it's always been there, I mean, I am who I am, and yes. Oh, thanks, dude. Thanks.
No, went down my throat. Where'd you get that stuff, man? Did you find that in the dumpster? It's terrible.
All right. So, but anyway, Boss Baby.
So,
big thumbs down
big
for me.
thumbs down
It's
for
just
you.
too much. Max, I'm glad you loved it, man. But
Your review doesn't surprise
I
me.
gotta tell you, it was a little too much for me.
Well, you and I are not the target audience for Boss Baby.
Well, you know what? I don't know what I don't know what the target was. This movie was very, very complex. It had so many things going on. I mean, this is really for a very bright individual, just like our dear friend Max there, because I don't think the average kid would pick up half the stuff that went on in this film. I kid you not.
Okay.
This movie is all over the map.
See, now I'm kind of intrigued to see it just for that
With
stuff.
concepts, there are concepts in this film that are mind-blowing, that are sci-fi, that are possibly, that go into an ethereal...
See, I do love that
an
kind of stuff.
ethereal world of behind the scenes of how babies are produced and how babies come out. And
See, you
where
don't
they
get
are...
that from the trailer at all.
No. It's quite a shtick. But visually, sound-wise... All I could think of while I was watching it is there's Alec Baldwin sitting in a booth going,
Exactly.
talking like Alec Baldwin.
Looking at his bank statement.
Looking at his bank statement grow and grow and grow, much like the feces content of the baby's diapers involved in this film. So, but I gotta say that I love this film. I by no means did I love it. Do I ever watch it again? No. Maybe when I die and go to hell, which I most certainly will, somebody will strap me to a chair, a
Very
wheelchair.
sad statement that you're acknowledging.
Somebody
that's
will
what you're
strap
gonna
me
do.
to a wheelchair and a
And die.
straitjacket and sit me in a room and make me watch Boss Baby for the rest of all eternity.
That or you're going to just watch Silence on a loop.
No, I'd rather watch Silence than Boss Baby any day of the
Yeah,
week.
I would
Because
too.
Silence gives you a little silence. Boss Baby gives you nothing. It completely it's just for an hour and a half. Way too much. And with that, let us move on. We
To a
have
film
new
with a very long title.
And I'd like to begin the beginning, since I'm
Okay.
coming off Boss Baby.
All right, why
I'm
don't you
going
do
to
it?
go right into
Go ahead.
The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks.
Which just premiered on HBO last weekend.
It did indeed. It just started Saturday night. It stars our beloved Oprah Winfrey. And I've got to say, I'm going to say right off the bat, Oprah Winfrey is dynamite in this
I guarantee she will be nominated,
movie.
if not win the Emmy.
No, she will win because the woman's worth $2 billion.
She's astounding
And
in this film, though.
She is astounding in this film, and once again, my eyes are beginning to, clam up, so I'm going to put on my goggles here. But, I thought that, wait a minute, ow, stop. I thought that she was extraordinary in
I
this
agree.
movie.
She
I
really
did.
played a character here.
She played a character, a beautifully written
Yeah.
film. This is literally about the first woman. This is back in 1951. She passed away. Her name is Henrietta Lacks. She is used to this day. Her genes, her
Stem
cells,
cells.
her cells
Yes.
basically have been elongated to, hence the title, The Immortal Life.
Yes.
And this woman has been used in all kinds of cell, not just stem cell, but research.
Yeah.
In fact, it was Henrietta's cell that was responsible for curing polio.
It was, exactly. Jonas Salk.
By experimenting and by just performing various tests upon her cells living outside of her body after she died.
Yep.
I don't know what I'm doing this all the time.
And they would duplicate.
Why do I do this?
They duplicate her cells, and then they were selling it off.
Here.
And we must say that Johns Hopkins University down in Baltimore was the hospital where all this took place, and at the forefront of the storyline a lot.
John Hopkins is not referenced so well in this film.
It's not.
They are really.
They're almost the villains.
They are indeed the villains. Well, let's get back into the basic premise of this film. So this woman dies. She goes into this hospital. She's, I believe she was pregnant at the time.
No, but she had a young child.
No, she had, forgive me, she had cancer.
Yes.
She finds that she has cancer amongst her other friends, and she is now brought into John Hopkins to be worked on for cancer to utilize the burning techniques of the day. I guess it was the pre to chemotherapy, etc.
Yeah.
And she is basically becomes a test tube for the folk at John Hopkins, where they begin to utilize the black community as test dummies.
Like the government did with the Tuskegee Airmen. I mean,
Precisely.
That wasn't new.
They are injecting
Unfortunately.
poisons, toxins into
Yes.
these people and much like the Nazis did
Yeah.
in the Holocaustic years, as we celebrate Holocaust Appreciation Day this past couple of days, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I'm very appreciative of the Holocaust victims and people of World War II who have survived. But I tell you, it was unbelievable, and it is examined. They could have done a whole film specifically about that, about the testing of black folk.
Oh, there's a whole film there.
It goes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Unfortunately, the thing I didn't like about Henrietta Lacks is
the
this-
movie itself.
The movie
talking
itself,
about?
I am talking about the film.
I want to make sure you weren't talking about the person.
No. I'm talking about the film. When
Got it.
I mentioned Henrietta Lacks, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Well, I just want to
the
clarify
Immortal
to
Life.
viewers that might have just tuned in. You're
Well,
talking about
I'm
the
just-
film as a whole.
I'm giving the premise of the film, which
I
of course
understand.
is the experimentation upon this particular woman whose cell still exists. The family was never compensated for the use of her cell.
And I'll just quickly tell you that she left several children, 5 children in total.
Correct.
One of whom was already deceased, as the storyline
Yes.
picks up. And the main thread of the story is that it's told through the eyes of a journalist who's writing a novel about Henrietta Lacks.
Played by Rose Byrne. Rose Byrne is here to
She's
here
excellent
to interview
in
the
this
family. Yeah,
as well.
she is good. I found her obnoxious at first, but then again, she was just being her smiley self to ingrate herself
Yes,
into the
yes.
family, etc. The acting in this film is first rate.
Top notch.
I gotta
Everybody's
say, it
excellent.
really is. It's a
Yeah.
beautifully made little film.
Really
it
is.
does have that HBO, that personal kind of feel to
Mm-hmm.
it, where Hallmark, Lifetime movies do. We don't spread too much out of camera angles. Always stay close up, tight knit.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a lot of back, beautiful scenery kind of scenes that we go for in standard general release films.
I mean, the only time we see some of those is when they were doing the wide shots when they're driving down to the
That was
countryside.
just, but that's
There's a handful
so
of-
that Rose could talk about the green field after green field.
No, I know, but I
going
mean, we do
by.
get some of that. It's not like it's not present in the
I
film.
suppose so. Let me adjust my
You know,
strap on here.
I don't want to misrepresent
if
the
I
filmmaking
will.
style.
But the thing that I did not like about this movie was the emotional ups and downs of the Oprah character,
Mm-hmm.
the family members. They're just way too much, constant. One day they're happy, and one day they're sad. They concentrated too much about the emotional roller coaster ride that the family takes upon being interviewed by Rose Byrne.
But that seemed authentic to me.
Well, it was authentic to some extent, but I think they dwelled on it a little bit too much, that it distracted from the content of the film, which
know.
is about these people.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just writing the screenplay in my head that I wanted to see, and I
know.
wanted to see them concentrate more on the abuse of of black people in John Hopkins, and how they were basically used as just test dummies, and just horrible, injected with poisons and horrible things, just to see how they reacted. Oh my God! One of the sisters and you get a little confused in this movie. Is it the sister? Is it the mother? Is it the mother? Is it the
Yeah,
sister?
yeah.
We see the one sister when they do go to John Hopkins and they get the.
You're talking about the flashbacks. There's a lot of flashbacks.
No. I'm talking about the scene when Rose and Oprah go and they get the file.
Oh, and the sister
Oprah
that was
gets
committed,
to see
basically.
The sister that is committed.
Yeah,
and
she's already been dead for years.
Dead. Yeah, but they injected her with so much horrible stuff. Her face is completely deformed.
Yeah.
I mean, this was the film.
Yeah.
This was the essence of this movie. Yeah. Plus, the beauty of one particular woman whose cells, the first time cells were able to exist outside of a body in a test tube. They were able to be incubated and utilized.
There's a line in the film
a scientific world that was never done before.
And there's a line in the film where
now it's standard procedure.
I think Rose Byrne said, or maybe one of the researchers. No, I think it was one of the doctors. It doesn't matter who said it. They said basically to the effect of, "There's not a person alive today who hasn't benefited from Henrietta Lacks' cells." And it's really
Still
incredible to think. And it's funny.
It is.
And this movie is important because. This is something we should all know about, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about this. Like, when I saw that this film was on, you made me aware of this film on HBO. I'm like, what is that? And you're like, oh, this is what it's about. And immediately I became interested on the storyline.
Yeah.
But on just looking at the title and the poster, I'm like, I don't know, what is this movie?
Yeah, right.
But once I learned the story, I'm like, wow, this is fascinating stuff.
I know.
I thought it was a very, very powerful film.
I watched it in one sitting, which is very rare
so
for me.
did I. I did too.
I sat there on Sunday morning.
I watched this last night.
I watched it Sunday morning. I sat there. I put it on at about, I get up in the morning. I let out my little puppies at about 8 o'clock sometimes, and I go right back to bed. Well, I decided to start this film, and I sit there for an hour and a half, and I watched the entire thing.
Yeah, no, and
it was
I
quite
agree.
riveting.
It went by very quick. To speculate on what you were saying about the ups and downs of the family and the drama that they went through in all these 40, 50 something years since this happened to their mother. There's a part in the movie where Rose Byrne is meeting with the publishers and they're telling her, well, here's what we like about your book. All the stuff about the family.
Right.
We don't want that in the book.
Yeah,
Take that out.
I know.
So I'm thinking that one of the reasons this film dwells on that a lot, I think, is because there was so much effort to suppress that element of the storyline in real life. To the point that when they took the cells from Henrietta Lacks, they deliberately just changed the name so it wouldn't be Henrietta Lacks. They shortened it to Gila.
Henrietta Lacks.
Yeah. So just because that's their way of being able to not have to reference it as a real person.
No, I don't think that was the case. I think that was just done more on a scientific basis of just making a name shorter rather than to refer to
there was
cell
a point
as
where they
HeLa
said we don't want to use names. No, there was a point where they deliberately, the doctors had a conversation about that.
Yeah, true.
No, they deliberately suppressed it.
But I think shortening a name, a cell name
for scientific purposes, yeah. But there was more of an intent behind it because at that period, like we said before, a lot of the country still saw African Americans as second-class citizens, and some of the country still today still feels that way.
Yeah,
so that's why there's such an important story that we didn't really know about. We're not taught about this in school in science class. I mean,
very true.
Not even in college did I have a science course that covered this at all.
There's a spectacular little scene with Oprah Winfrey. I love it. They go in to meet with the people at the John Hopkins, the remains of this John Hopkins Center. Yeah. Now John Hopkins has moved to a big, beautiful place, even though this was all set, I guess, about 10 years ago.
1999 it starts.
Right. But then the book was actually written in 2009.
That's when it was finally
released. 2010,
yeah.
So the book is actually out and was on the bestseller list for all that time. But there's a great scene there, and I love this. When Oprah is, they walk into a scenario and there is a white woman standing there, and she just talks to Rose Byrne, because Rose Byrne is her fellow white woman.
Yes.
So then Oprah says, in character, as Henrietta's sister says, "What's that? I'm invisible all of a sudden?" Because I'm the black woman standing here, I'm invisible.
She's Henrietta's daughter.
I'll tell you, Oprah blew my mind in this film.
Fantastic.
She had that scene where she goes back. There's a flashback to a horrible thing that happened to her as a child.
It was awful.
As later on in the film.
Yeah.
And she is, for that very reason, she's removed from that family. These family members who are abusing her as a child and so forth. But that scene where Oprah is reminiscent and she breaks down on camera, I'll tell you, this
That
woman,
was a powerful
That
scene.
was a powerful scene, if
Yeah, it
not
really
the most
was.
powerful scene in the film. Just acting.
I was watching that scene, and they're inside of a barn, and it's
Right.
pouring rain.
It's more
They're
like
both-
a cabin.
Yeah,
It's
they're
not a
drenched.
barn, yeah.
Cabin, whatever. They're drenched. It,
Right.
it was an emotional powerhouse. That scene, yeah.
Exactly. It was very realistic. It had great passion.
Reach out to this movie on
it
HBO.
really
Check
is.
it out.
It's on HBO right
It's
now.
great.
It's an HBO made film, and
It's an hour and a half. It's an easy watch.
It goes right by, but I'll
And
tell
it's
you
informative.
something. It's very informative, and just the scientific value of things that we don't get to know about on our planet Earth.
Yeah.
The origin of things. It's a pleasure, and it's a privilege to be able to have a movie like this made, and
I
then
agree.
of course
Thank God
you
for
wonder.
HBO.
Well, you wonder how much embellishment was taken. Maybe it was 10 times worse than what the film
They could've
showed.
downplayed
So
it, yeah.
exactly. So it's always good to know that. I like it when people have the guts and the balls to touch on things
agree.
that are not so prevalent in our general world, and we get to see behind the scenes of specifically in the scientific world, because we know in the scientific world that they're experimenting on people
All the time.
all the time. I mean, people who come in with new diseases or become guinea pigs in the eyes of science, and it's just horrible. And here back in the 40s, when Henrietta first goes in and is diagnosed with cancer, and she dies in 1951, that was terrifying to me. That was a movie into its own. If I was a horror filmmaker, and almost in a sense, that horrible film that we just saw with
Institute. I was just thinking about that.
There's a little bit of that in there, where a woman a movie called The Institute. We reviewed it a few weeks ago, where a woman back in the 1800s, I believe, or was it early 1900s?
No, it was 1800s.
Yeah, it was 1800s. She goes to that's another story.
But they used to just, back in those, up until this early 80s, I mean, it was common in these psychiatric facilities to do a lobotomy on somebody.
Absolutely.
Cut out part of your skull to take out the front lobe of your brain, and then they take out your entire personality.
The movie Frances, starring Jessica Lange, was about that. She was a off the chain kind of an actress, and she went a little bit nuts. So they performed a lobotomy on her, and I'll tell you, those lobotomy scenes always get to me, because they have to kind of go up the nose and go right into the frontal lobe there, and of course everyone becomes a zombie.
Jack Kennedy did that to his daughter. Lobotomized her.
Not Jack Kennedy, but
No, the father, senior.
Joe Kennedy.
I'm sorry, Joe
Yes, Joe
Kennedy,
that was
senior.
done to young Rose.
Young
That
Rose,
is correct.
yeah, it's horrible.
She was...
and the mother never got over it. As she
basically
should.
destroyed. Absolutely true.
But
It's a horrible thing. Our machine here is
it does it on its own. We didn't touch it. I mean, that's true.
There is indeed a spiritual force here. Maybe Henrietta is here with us now,
But,
poo-pooing our review.
in the interest
But
of
I don't
time,
think
let
that's
us
the
move
case.
forward.
We shall indeed.
We're going to do...
We did like Henrietta.
we loved it. Yeah,
we liked it for not only what it, as a film, it did have a little bit of a lifetime feel. The emotional content felt a little bit lifetime oriented to me. And when I say lifetime, I mean that kind of Lifetime films, Hallmark films, etc. But just as a general piece of information, it was shocking, and
I think it's a must-see,
an
I would
eye-opener.
say.
Absolutely an eye-opener. And my hat goes off to Miss Oprah Winfrey for making such a film.
Future Emmy winner right here.
Absolutely, she will win for this film,
I
because
think
she blows. She was outrageous.
She's fantastic.
Blows my mind.
She acts
Boom.
infrequently, but when she
Boom.
does, she does an amazing job.
No,
so.
she was outrageous. Outrageous. All right, our next film is...
Unforgettable.
Oh.
Which you saw.
I seem to have forgotten it
Can
already.
we do this briefly? In the
I want to
interest
talk
of time?
about this movie right now, because I was... Now, this is a true story. I sat in this film, and I watched this film, Unforgettable. I'm going to take off my glasses, even though I've got pig eyes, I do. I've been noticed that if you put an apple in my mouth and stick me on a rotisserie, that Hawaiian people will come out of the woodwork to have a go at my flesh. So, however, I sat next to a wonderful little black girl during this film.
Okay.
She had to be 20 years old. She sat literally 2 seats away from me.
Okay.
And little Kara, Kara, I know you're not watching because you're in bed with someone you love right now, and I wish we all were, for that matter. But you know something? as we're watching this movie went on. I felt like I was watching literally a clock go by. This film was so long. It's only about an hour and 45 minutes
But it
long.
felt like 3 hours.
It felt like, I literally looked at my watch. I'm not kidding, maybe like every 2 minutes or so. Now, a little glitch would happen in the film where something would go awry, where you'd suddenly say to yourself, hey, wait a minute, what about that? So Kara would say, oh, she's going to go do this now. And then I would say, and forgive me, I'm not trying to do a caricature of Kara, although I suppose I am in a small way. But she's a little black girl, so she was talking like a little black girl might. But she was wonderful and just the sweetest human being. I tell you, I was going to make her a horrible proposition. No, I'm not. That's not true. But she was just a sweetheart. I was going to take her out to lunch. I said, Carol, I'm going to take you out to lunch because I enjoyed talking to you.
She was
so
singing
much.
it by herself?
No, she was sitting by herself next to me, and she would say something like, "Uh-oh, what about this?" And I'd say, "Right. What about the dog? What about this?" Or we'd start mentioning little plot twists.
That's great.
Like, there's one particular point, the police just show up. I say, who called the police? And she said to me, that was because she dialed 911, even though she hung up, the police got the call, and they came because, and I'm going, okay, all right, Karen, that makes sense to me. She was wonderful. She was a sweetheart, and we enjoyed this film together, even though it was a horrible movie. I asked her at the end of the film, Kara, how did you like this film? She says, it was a chick flick.
Yeah.
That's what it was, a chick flick.
And if you know, starring Katherine Heigl, Rosario
Katherine
Dawson,
Heigl.
Love Triangle, Fatal Attraction.
Basically,
you
same
know what
old
it is.
nonsense. You know, this was done so much better just recently. I believe Gabriella Union. It was an all-black
Called
film.
Betrayed, right?
Betrayed, I
Yeah.
believe. Much better than this.
Yeah.
That at least had some passion in it. This movie was literally like watching grass grow. But on one particular premise, it was a good way to create tension.
Yeah.
It moved so slowly. It moved like just misery on two legs. It was horrifyingly slow. So, although I'll tell you, Rosario Dawson, I love
her, too.
Rosario
She's
Dawson.
fantastic.
She's a beautiful, beautiful woman. I was very conscious of her acting, though, in this. I was conscious of everybody acting. The main star, the husband, who is now... Rosario Dawson is his new girlfriend. He wants to marry her. Katherine Heigl is the
ex.
crazy bitch.
Crazy
She's a
ex.
crazy ass bitch. That's right. She's
Who
crazy.
she wants
She's
her
crazy.
daughter back, right?
And no, it's not that she wants her daughter back. She wants her life back.
The family back, okay.
Right, but then she's a bit on the nut side. So we have that fatal
Who
attraction.
plays the husband? I forget.
He's just
He
some
looks like
standard guy.
he looks like Josh Duhamel. He looks
There you
like
go.
3 or 4 of the guys.
Good-looking
Yeah.
guy, just there, and he just exists. He's just there
Got
to
it.
hang clothes on and talk his part, so that the two main female stars can talk around him.
So he's got the role that most women have in the other movies.
Pretty much.
Unfortunately.
In movies that
aren't-
have two
aren't-
men fighting each other for a woman,
Yeah,
which is
so-
very rare.
Yeah.
Because we
you don't get
see-
many female-driven movies.
Well, yes, you do.
We're getting more now, but it's not as it never used to be.
Well, no,
that
I mean,
frequent.
that catfight essence is basically the premise of Fatal Attraction, though. I mean, but it's a one-woman thing where now we have the two women.
You do,
scenario
but
where
Michael
these
Douglas
two-
in Fatal Attraction has a much more dominant presence in film than this guy probably does.
Well, I'm talking about the Glenn Close character. Now,
Yeah.
suppose Michael Douglas was still married to... Was he still married?
in the film, yeah, no, he had a wife. It was
it was played by
it was,
somebody beautiful.
Was it Ann Archer?
Yeah, I think it was Ann
it was
Archer.
Ann Archer.
And we all kept saying to ourselves, why would anybody cheat on Ann Archer?
You know, I just read a whole, not to just go into a tangent here, but briefly, I just read a whole little excerpt from a book that's coming out, which I actually want to really read. It's a biography of Sherry Lansing, the old head of Paramount.
Okay.
And she talks about how one of her biggest things is when she first started producing, Fatal Attraction was her first big movie.
Right.
And they talk about how much Ann Archer disliked doing some reshoots for that movie.
Really?
Because they changed the ending. And
She sewed it
I'm
up
sorry,
right
let
now.
me change that. Glenn Close didn't like the reshoots with Ann Archer in those scenes, the way things played out.
Oh.
It's a very interesting little...
Scenario.
yeah, well, I was going to say, side note, that I really want to read that book. But,
Yeah.
but anyway, so Unforgettable, should people see it?
It's rather forgettable for an
Doesn't
unforgettable
surprise me.
titled film.
A film that we've had the title of many times in other films.
This is standard stuff. There's
Yeah.
nothing you haven't seen before. We talk about Lifetime, Hallmark movies.
This could be movie of the week
This
on
could be
NBC,
movie of the week.
you know?
I'm going to say this about Katherine Heigl. she gets a lot of bad press because
Yeah.
a lot of people don't like her. They say she's hard to work with, etc. I found her to be, I think the performance of this film was given by her.
Okay.
She has that perfect
Well, she
Barbie.
has the part in
She-
this movie.
she's the woman to beat as far as just sheer acting goes, and she was excellent in
Yeah, I
this
mean, if
film.
you don't have that part cast well,
Yeah.
you have no movie.
Yeah,
Because that's the antagonist.
The ending was a little
That's
bit on
the
the
view.
shocking side, but I enjoyed the ending because it was all about the perfection of the person who
Yes.
Katherine Heigl is and how she handles not being perfect. So it's kind of cool in a way. Rosario, there's nothing new to learn about a movie like this.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
watching particular actors perform their particular chemistry
Yes.
in a certain way that is either positive or negative. In this particular, this movie just went like, like it was dead on arrival.
Got it.
I knew from the start. You knew what was going to happen. You knew where it was going to go. Nothing out of the ordinary ever came down the pike.
Okay.
It's a performance film, basically, cut and dried. Do I recommend this film? Absolutely not.
Okay.
If you're a bunch of girls, women, chicks getting together to go see a good chick flick, this ain't it.
No.
This ain't it. Go see Girl on a Train, which is now on video. That's a better chick flick, I think. Yeah, I can't say anything positive about this film.
So why don't we move on?
We can move on.
We're going to move on to a film called Manglehorn, which is obviously not a commercial title.
No, it's not.
Manglehorn is recently added to Netflix, although it's a couple years old.
Yeah, it is.
2014.
Yeah, it stars Al Pacino, and that's the reason that I'm reviewing it. That's the reason I watched it.
And that's the reason he made me watch it.
Exactly. And so Manglehorn, it's not the most compelling storyline.
Yeah.
Here's what it is. Al Pacino plays a locksmith in Texas who has never gotten over a lost love from 30, 40 years prior. And so it's all about how he's just kind of slowly just walking.
Decomposing.
Well, you could say that, but
He's
he's
literally-
worn out. He's just walking through life. He's not really living. He's miserable. He longs for this love. He writes daily love letters to her and mails them, and they always come back return to sender. And he's just depressed in his life. He goes to the VFW pancake dinner. He interacts with a bank teller played by Holly Hunter, who is actually
Okay.
excellent.
Yeah.
And that's the story. It's a slow moving story about this guy who's just not happy in his life. He's worn out. He's got earrings. He's got raggy clothes. He's got long hair. He looks exhausted.
Yeah.
The biggest joy that he gets in his life is his sick cat. And so,
Oh, that's a horrible scene.
yeah, and here's
the
something I didn't expect. There's a long, in-depth cat surgery scene in this
I
movie,
know, and I'll
which
tell you-
I found fascinating, but grim to those people that love cats.
True.
And animals in
Which
general.
I am one.
Yes.
I am a cat lover.
This film, the reason that I would say check it out is only under the following criteria. Are you a film buff? Are you a big fan of Al Pacino like myself? I would say you got to see it because it's Al. And he does
Yeah.
a great job. He is one of these actors that he's in his twilight years where he could just be golfing. He still gives a crap. He's still making
true.
good films. He's still giving these performances that he's giving 100% in.
Absolutely.
And that's why this film to me stood out. And that's why I would say check it out. But I'm going to give you a heads up that it's very slow.
This film is one sad scene after the other.
That's true.
There is no joy to
That's
be had
true.
in this film at all.
And even the
None.
joy scenes when he's going out to dinner with somebody, it's like, oh, God, it's cringeworthy at times.
However, my dear movie friends, there is a very famous, and I immediately came to mind as I was watching this, there is a very brilliant Akira Kurosawa film, a man who you know nothing about.
I
As
know
a
of
student
him.
of film, you should, but you don't.
I know I should.
It's a crying shame.
No, I know
My
all about him.
co-host is-
I just haven't
There's
seen
nothing about Japanese
all his
cinema.
films.
He knows nothing about foreign cinema.
That's
If
not
it's not
true.
Robot Chicken, he doesn't know. He doesn't give a damn about it.
He
But
has no material.
stop
He
the
still
show.
makes fun of Robot
I
Chicken
do
from
make
12
fun
years
of Robot
ago.
Chicken, but this film is one dreary scene. However, I hand it to Mr. Pacino for doing
I have to
for
as well.
making a brilliant character
Yeah.
out of absolute misery.
Mm-hmm.
He takes this now. Marlon Brando.
That's right, Marlon Brando, the famous, the one, the only.
You may know from The Godfather. But you know Marlon. But Marlon's favorite film in this world was called Ikiru. And Ikiru is about a man who has suffered horrible, horrible loss. He's gone through World War One. He's gone through World War Two.
He's lost loves,
miserable.
all that stuff. Yeah.
He's lost everything. There's no reason for him to live anymore. And I'm going to tell you the end of
No,
Ikiru.
don't, because I want to see it. Don't
all right,
ruin
all right,
movies.
very well.
I have to tell you not
But
to.
it is about the conquest. It is about the journey to find joy
I understood.
in life.
And that sounds great.
Okay, so as we go through the arc of this film, I gotta say, I gotta hand it to the guy from who plays his son, Jacob.
Yeah, Chris Messina is a
Chris
very good actor. I was going to
Messina,
get to him.
You know,
Does
he's
a great
so
job.
good in this
He
film.
is.
I was blown away by
He's
him.
fantastic.
And we just saw him recently in Live by Night, which was a. He gives a very stereotypical
He does, but he was very
Italian
good at that,
mafia
I thought,
kind of
yeah.
performance in this. But this film, he's dynamite as Al's forlorn son,
Yeah.
who's Al's never loved. Now Al is incapable of loving anything or anyone except his cat. Yes.
And his lost love.
And his lost love, who I
forget her name.
Now I'll say this: that scene where
They're at Boston
the
Market?
scene, no,
Oh.
the scene where they're sitting at the VA.
Oh, yeah.
and
The
she's
pancake- the
on
pancake lunch.
No, not the pancake one. The second one. The second one where they get together the second time. Okay, she comes back, and now they meet for the first time. They scrape their pancakes off together, and
Yeah.
they're on their way.
No, the second-
Now they come back to another VA meeting where Holly Hunter, who is a woman who's in love with Al Pacino.
Well, no, he
she's
takes
a
her to
bank
dinner.
teller. He takes her to dinner, but
It's
no,
Boston
this-
Market.
Is it Boston
Yeah,
Market?
yeah,
Okay.
where he blows it, kind of, in a way.
Yeah.
He's an ass.
Well, she gives herself to him.
Yeah.
She basically says, "I'm in love with you. Do you want to take a bath with me? Do you want to love me? Do you want to be with me?" And Al's like, Al's just talking about everything. That scene to me, I tell you, I watched
It's
that
cringing.
scene. I cringed.
Yeah.
I was
How
I
not to
was
act on a
losing it.
date.
It was so horrible to
Yeah.
watch Al Pacino.
So well acted.
So well acted by
Yeah.
Holly Hunter lisping away as Holly Hunter does. I'm in love with you. And she's just got that funky vocal intonation.
Yeah, yeah.
But she's a lovely woman. I love Holly
I thought she was
Hunter.
fantastic in
I
this.
loved her in the film she won her Oscar for, which was what was that film?
It wasn't the piano, was it?
I think it was.
She won for that?
No, she won. I think. No, wait, she didn't. It was a film with I Choose Life, where she goes down to the bottom of the. What film was that? Oh
Choose
gosh,
Life.
I believe it. Anna Paquin may have been in that.
That's
film.
piano. Anna Paquin won for that too.
Did
Anna
she?
Paquin won Best Supporting Actress, the
Oh, okay.
youngest ever.
Yes,
And I
yes.
think that's the year that
Yes,
Holly Hunter
and
won.
Holly Hunter was in there
The
too.
piano,
I believe
yeah, yeah.
so. And
Harvey
it's a
Keitel.
great performance.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely
Yeah.
true. But anyway, that is a cringing scene. This
really
whole
is.
film, though, I cannot recommend it to the average film.
Not to the average. That's why I gave my
simply
my,
to
my
admirers
notes.
of Mr. Pacino, because he is right on the money.
He's great in this.
I'll tell you, there's a brilliance to Al to be able
There
to
is.
portray a character like this, and that comes across so well in this movie. I felt his intelligence. I felt
did.
his warmth. He fleshes out every character that he plays.
does.
He makes them real. He talks the way he talks. It's just he talks like somebody who is thinking as they're saying their lines, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
He's so impromptu. He's just got such an incredible delivery of just being real that I was mesmerized by Al. But the film, I have to say, by you, I just wanted, once again, I'm going to give my old standard line. This film should come with a pair of razor blades, so at the end you could go end your damn life with it, because it was just
But
horrible.
you
to
need
watch.
these kind of movies once in a while.
No, you
Not
don't.
everything can end with a nice bow on it.
Well, it does end with a nice.
No,
bow
but I
on
mean,
it,
is in
a
terms
sense.
of
I mean,
the
it is-
theme,
True.
the mood you're in. Sometimes movies are depressing. I mean, that life is sometimes depressing. So,
And obviously
in a way,
so.
this film mirrors maybe some people's lives.
And that's precisely why we don't want to see films like this, because life is depressing enough.
Yeah, but
let's face it, we all get up
it
out of
is,
bed right now, and
but
the first thing we do is
I
turn on the
appreciate
news
it.
to make sure that you-know-who hasn't, blown up North Korea yet. I mean,
I know.
right now I feel like I'm living my life on the edge. I get up in the morning and I'm waiting to see what horror is occurring in our world, and just praying
I am
that,
too, but I'm not losing
you know,
any sleep
no
over
missiles
it.
have been blasted at this guy or that guy.
Because there's nothing we can do about it.
I know, and
You and I can't do anything about it.
It's true.
So I'm not
but-
going to lose sleep.
But I do. I do lose.
See,
a
that
little
was
sleep.
me in 2012, and I'm never going back there again.
Well, I remember you
losing
in
sleep
2012.
over things that are going on. I'm
You
not
were
going to do it.
horrifying. You were horrifying.
For a year, I was losing sleep, and I promised myself I'd never do it again.
Yeah, you were nuts.
And after that media detox I did, I haven't gone back.
You lost it.
And I've been happier since, and I'm not going back there.
I agree.
So I don't care what happens because I can't do anything about it. You know, and I don't mean to say I don't care, but I'm not going to be focused on it like I was.
Yes.
Anyway.
we
We're
could
running.
still do. We could still do it. It's only 8:30.
It's 8:30, a few more minutes.
You want to go right for our flashback, or we could talk about Sam Was Here, which you mentioned on last week's show. It was a Twilight Zone. We could just do a quick wrap up on that.
So we do a couple other things. I guess we can do next week because I'd like to review that one, and I know you want to do that one.
I would.
Um,
We could do them both very quickly, but do you want to? But then
no, I don't want to rush them. I
doesn't
hate
wanna
rushing
run
through
over,
two.
then you've gotta
We'd
run
have to
over,
rush
man.
over like 2 or 3 films.
He's gonna run over, dude. I know. And
What-
once you run over, Chris has more production work to do.
Well, why don't
and
we?
like tomorrow, he's gonna be spending all day doing this anyway.
I'm still gonna be
And
doing
we
it
don't want
anyway.
him to, you know, this,
Well, if we're let's do this.
Bop.
Let's pick one thing to do. Do you want to just do what we were discussing, a joint flashback?
We can do the joint.
Let's do that.
Flashback,
We can
flashback,
always.
flashback,
You can
flashback,
always do
flashback.
your notes on Sam
God,
Was
there's
Here.
something up me here. What is it? It's some kind of an anal thing. It's a probe of some sort, and oh my God, it hurt. I don't know how many there were there, but I'm so tired.
I'm surprised you were able to sit that long with that thing up there.
Well, you might have
That
seen me
just-
smiling for a little
Well,
while.
that just shows that you've cultivated a lot of space over the years in your extracurricular
Precisely.
activities.
No.
They could fit that many in there.
Absolutely true.
I'm impressed
No, I
with
am
your
too.
depth.
I am too.
More so than
That's
there is
easy
up
for
here.
you to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh,
all right.
good. Shoot me again so I can slick
So
my hair back.
we're gonna do our flashback this week. We're doing a
Stanley Kubrick film from
we
1990.
are 1999.
1999.
The last film we did called Eyes Wide Shut.
Precisely.
And,
Stars Nicole and
Nicole Kidman.
and Mr. Tom,
And Mr.
Thomas
Tom Cruise, with supporting performances by several people, most notably Sidney Pollack,
I love
who I
Sidney
always
in this
love as an
one.
actor
I love him too.
and as a director.
He was obsessed with a certain thing about this film, and I just read.
Who
I
was?
just heard about this.
Pollack?
Yes. Sidney, all he would talk about for years after making this film was how he got to spend an entire 2 days with this naked woman on the couch as Tom Cruise comes
Yeah.
in. This woman dies. She's a
Well, she
prostitute.
overdoses.
She overdoses.
She doesn't
She's
die.
a prostitute, and doesn't she die?
No.
Oh, I
she
thought she
doesn't.
did.
No, because she comes back later.
Oh, she just come back later in the film.
Yeah.
A wonderful movie.
I love it. This film has so much atmosphere.
It really does.
And it's funny, you're watching
beautifully
these
shot.
scenes where Tom Cruise is walking the streets of the village of New York City, and you think to yourself, no, we know that this was filmed on a back lot in London because Kubrick makes all his films in London.
Right.
He doesn't come back to the States. And it's just so authentic. It looks
It's a
real.
beautiful looking movie.
Gorgeous. The
It's
guy
gorgeous.
takes such care with every shot.
But it's truly
It's an engrossing movie.
It's got an ethereal, haunting quality.
It really
about
does.
We go into a cult world
Yeah.
of a elite
Fascinating.
society
Yeah.
they are mass individuals. They have these bizarre sex orgies.
Yeah.
And
In masks,
Tom,
yeah.
through going to this party that he goes
You
to.
have the exact mask from the film in your bathroom, don't you?
I believe I may.
You do.
I do have one of those masks.
I think it's
the
the
one
exact
with the long pointy
Can I go
thing.
get it or no?
You may if you'd like.
I would love to.
If you'd like to show it to the people,
I would.
They may see precisely what as I do my turkey gobble here. Gobble, 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 gobble. But anyway, Eyes Wide Shut. If you haven't seen this film, you're out of your damn minds because this is a classique. All right, here he is, masking song. You got to sit down so the people can see.
I want to sit down.
Can you hold it on? Here, I'll hold it on while you show the folk. Oh, you want to give them a profile, do you? All right, there you go. Ain't that clever?
Look at that
Ain't that
nose.
nice? And you could also, if you got a can of Budweiser on you, you can go over and do and pop
Yeah.
it open. But anyway, Eyes
Anyway,
Wide Shut, great movie.
it
It
is-
does
I
explore the
love this film.
surreal,
I
high
love it.
society, really perverted world
Very.
of the upper rich. I guess maybe Kanye's out in one of these clubs right now
Could
in
be.
Long Island. I'll tell you, it's a super film.
It's got
love
an
it.
awesome
Beautiful
score
looking
that's
movie.
simple, just those pianos.
Yeah,
Toot,
yeah.
toot, toot, toot,
Very
toot.
nice.
So-
Lily Sobieski is in
Very
this
young
film.
in this
Remember
film,
little
Lily
Lily?
Sobieski, yeah.
Whatever happened to her?
You know,
She did a film called The Glass House.
Yeah, she did a few movies and she disappeared.
She really just kind of.
I think she's shown up
away.
on some TV shows, but nothing significant.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
Although maybe now that she's older, maybe she looks completely different. We don't recognize her anymore. That's very.
She could have just
possible
decided to have a
indeed.
family, and a lot of kid actors
Maybe she
leave
did
the
that.
business
They leave
for a
the
while.
business. But
yeah, if you haven't seen Eyes Wide Shut, it's a long film. It's 3 hours, but it's a film about obsession. It's a horror film at times.
This is all flashback of the day. Flashback.
Yeah,
I
it
wish
is.
we had an echo, but I keep trying to get our production manager, played by Chris Picard here. I keep trying to get him to download an app so that we have some echo. So
It's
that
your
we say
computer.
to
Download it.
Flashback.
Here, let's try this. I'll put the speaker volumes on the laptop.
All right.
Do that
There you
again
go.
and see if it gives an echo.
All right, let's see if we got an echo here. Are you ready?
I
everyone?
apologize if this sounds obnoxious.
It must sound really horrible. Flashback, back.
Was that bad or good?
It didn't work. Sorry,
I don't
guys.
think it worked.
That was an experiment that we
So
tried.
sorry,
Didn't
we
work.
tried an experiment, not like the immortal life of
He's
Henry-
obsessed with
Henry
echo. I'm not
Ledbetter.
sure why.
I want the echo on the flashback. When we say, oh, here's our flashback segment, I wanted to go, okay, here's our flashback.
Yeah, but I can do that in post. I've done that in post a couple times.
Have you?
Yeah, I just don't do it every week.
Why not?
Well, because I didn't really know it meant that much to you till
It
now.
means that much to me,
Fine,
dude.
I'll do it for you.
All right, very good.
So when you watch this on YouTube, as you should,
As you should. as you
it
don't
has
want
all these
to.
cool things. It has
You've
new
already
sound
s-
effects.
you've already seen
It
it
has
here. Why
titling
watch
on the
it
bottom
again?
of the screen. It makes the show a show, as opposed to just a live stream on BitChat.com.
Very true. The one thing about Eyes Wide Shut, and the one thing about Stanley Kubrick that always irritates me, is that you do know that he does countless
Yeah.
takes.
Yeah.
Everybody complains about his takes, and I do feel
50
that it-
shots of somebody coming through a door.
50 shots of gray, basically where there's a lot of life. There's a lot of that spontaneity of life that is lost in Kubrick films, I
Yeah.
feel, because sometimes, like The Shining.
Yeah.
The Shining to me is a deadpan movie. It's almost dead out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that it really had going for it was some of the great imagery, the twins, for example, the pools of blood rolling down the hallway.
See, I love that film. I think that movie, it's.
Oh, I don't.
Really?
I think it's, and
Oh.
Stephen King agrees with me 100%.
I
He
know
thinks
King
it's
doesn't like that
one of the worst
adaptation,
adaptations
but
of any
Nicholson
of his
is
films.
amazing in
But
that
Jack
film.
is great in that film, and Jack Jack loves to act,
he's
so
the
he
best.
can do 20 different takes, 20
Yeah.
different ways. But Kubrick is nuts that way. And I think The Shining really loses it because of that. The early days of Kubrick, if you've never seen Lolita, for example, which you probably never have.
Of course I saw Lolita.
You saw Lolita?
Yeah, Peter
Really?
Sellers, of course.
You've seen this?
I've seen it.
You've seen those?
Of
movies?
course.
Because those are classics.
Yeah.
But they're before.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of classics. I just haven't seen as many as you.
Most films
you keep
before
forgetting. You have like
1985.
73 years of movies before I was even born. Did you?
73 years. That's not quite.
In
right.
all your crazy years.
That's not true. But see, I am a movie buff.
So
I will
am I.
see everything.
Yeah.
But you don't go back.
No,
You don't
that's
go
not
back.
true. That's not true at
You
all.
don't go back into the archives.
That's not true
You
at
don't
all.
go back.
It's not true. I just haven't gone as often into the archives as you
Well,
have.
you really should.
No,
because there's
there was
wonderful movies.
there were
out
a couple
that you
years
should.
where all I did was watch classics. I spent 2 whole summers watching classics.
Name one.
That whole summer, I can't remember them all. What I watched.
Well, just name one.
That summer,
Yeah.
I watched. That's when I watched 12 Angry Men for the first time. that
Okay,
summer.
there you go.
I
The
watched-
original one with Henry
Yeah,
Fonda.
I watched Inherit the Wind.
Henry Fonda.
that summer, yes.
Yeah, I like Henry.
You know, I watched a bunch.
Henry used to do GAF commercials. I'm going back very far.
My uncle used to work for GAF.
Back in the GAF. See that chocolate ice cream on her dress?
Is that company even around anymore?
GAF color film. No, of course not. They went belly up with
okay.
Kodak film and everybody else.
Got
Well,
it.
Kodak still has Kodak paper. And but you can't really. Well, you can buy Kodak Instamatic, those little plastic cassettes.
Yeah.
Apparently, you can still buy those. But anyway,
Anyway,
regardless, I'm not insulting you by any means.
it's okay.
I do. You're a film lover. It's true, but your time limits you, so you don't get to watch as many films as I do. But
If I had your life, I'd watch twice as many movies.
well, I'll tell you, most of the films that I watch in the classics world, I was completely. There was a good friend of mine named Bob Mattis. Bob, if you're out there right now
Make this
watching
quick.
this show, I will make this quick because I know. But look at our numbers going. They go to the
I
top
guess
of
they
the-
want to hear
They
about
go
Bob.
to the top of the leaderboard.
They're saying,
my
"What
friend.
about Bob?"
What about Bob? Ba-dum-bum-bum. Hey, you mean that old Bill Murray film?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, hello.
You
Big
just
T.
shut down your app.
I shut down my app there. But there was a guy in my high school, and his name was Bob McManus, Robert McManus. And this guy was a brilliant guy. I once made him a bet. Bob, he said to me, I can name all 75 Humphrey Bogart films, and he did. And I wrote them down because I thought he was just making them up. This is in like sophomore
Yeah.
year of high school.
I've been known to be able to name actors' filmographies.
Not only that, he could name all the Academy Awards, Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress, up and now this is 1970 circa that we're talking about. Okay,
Yeah.
so he could name all Best Pictures, Actor and Actress since 1927.
That's good. That's
well,
that's
I was
hard to
home
do.
that night and I memorized them all. I said, "Go ahead, ask me anyone," and they did, and I knew them all at that
That's
point.
great.
And to this day, I memorized them pretty good. I'm very bad on the 90s, but I can.
See,
go through
I'm
the-
good 80s forward. You're
Yeah,
better
I'm
80s
good
back.
1927.
That's why we're a great team.
Exactly.
We would dominate on Movie Jeopardy.
There you go.
We would be a great
More
team.
than likely we would.
We would.
But Robert McManus
Honestly, there's probably people better.
got
but-
me to watch stuff like The Life of Emile Zola, which was Best Picture 1937. I mean, there's just some wonderful, wonderful films out there. I grew to
Zorba
love
the Greek.
Paul Muni. Nah.
It's a good
Zorba the
film.
Greek
It's
never
a performance
was
film.
nominated, but
I
I,
like
think
that
Anthony
film.
was nominated.
He was great.
I
I like that. That's
I do
Fiddler on the
too.
Roof.
Oh, you're right. I'm doing Fiddler. Yeah.
Wrong.
Zorba was dun 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 boom dun
Doesn't
dun dun
matter,
dun 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 boom dun 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 boom dun 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 dun. But anyway, Bob McManus, wherever you are, my friend, I do know that he went to be on. He was working at the Metropolitan Opera House. He was like the manager over there
Okay.
for operas that would come in and so forth and so on. But
So what was the point of bringing him up? That he's seen
I
a lot
brought
of
him
films
up because
with
he
you?
inspired me
Oh, to watch old
to
movies.
start watching old films. And as I was growing up and my parents were fighting and trying to kill each other downstairs, I would go into the sub-level area of my house where there was a TV. My grandfather slept down there when he finally came to live with us because his wife died. My dad's mom passed away. So my grandfather, who were known as Banny and Bampy, that's right, Banny and Bampy, because one of their grandchildren couldn't say grandma and grandpa.
okay, yeah, it makes
so we
sense.
said Banny and Bampy, and it stuck. Now we all called them Banny and Bampy.
That's cool.
Regardless, I'm saying things that we don't need to know.
You know, that's the thing
but
about
Bob
film is that
inspired me. Bob, wherever you are, man, you inspired me to get to know movies, and I'm so grateful you did, because movies, for me specifically in my life, became my friends. They were
me too.
they were my world, because I was my parents were divorcing. It was a messy, horrible divorce.
So
As all you know, incredibly
sanctity of film saved you.
Incredibly talented people. Most of the time, you do find out that their parents were divorced at a young age. So of course, I fall right into that category.
Of course, you're patting yourself on the back.
He says, patting himself.
See, for me, it's a similar story, but different. Because my parents didn't divorce, but we had 30 years of problems with my mother's health, and
true.
so often, I would go watch movies as my escape.
Right.
So that's the whole point of it, is that we all are drawn to these films, and they
Very
get us
true.
through tough times.
They
and,
are what
and
they
they elevate
are,
them.
and that's what movies
during,
are.
during hard times.
Well, Alec Baldwin says, I just started reading his book last night, and he said, don't ever feel, and I've told you this before, that Alec has said this. He said this on the Actors Studio, and he was talking to the young people out in the audience, and he was telling them, and they were all saying, well, do I want to go be a movie star? Do I want to, it's kind of a wimpy way to make a living. And Alex said a very wise thing. He said, listen, people need you as much as they need doctors
I
and
agree.
lawyers, because they need to come home and be entertained.
It's true.
They need to put their brain on a little lamppost, a little hat rack, and be able to relax and just
true.
give their brain something to look at. So that's why movies are here for us. That's why I love movies. That's why this guy loves movies. It's because we're movie nuts. We're crazy. We're out of our minds. And that is the fact. And with that, my friend, I think we should
say goodnight.
It's 8:45.
Until next week.
We're so grateful that so many more of you are showing up here. But of course, now it's time to go. So you've come too late, haven't you? Because now we're going to go.
We're going to go, but we're going to say a couple
right.
things. We're going to say next week we're going to be reviewing the big film that opens this weekend, The Circle, starring Emma Watson
I'm also
and
gonna
Tom
have
Hanks.
True, indeed. But
We're
I
gonna
will
watch
have
that.
seen
The Promise.
The Promise.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get to see that
I will
too.
try and
I'm
get
gonna
to
try.
see that.
Because of the cast.
Christian
not
Bale,
the story.
Oscar Isaac is in it.
I love them both.
It looks
It's
good.
great.
It looks good. And it got pretty good reviews, too.
No, it is. It is. It's just a tough subject matter.
Well,
1914, Fall of the Ottoman Empire, Love Triangle. That's a tough
Well,
story.
there you go.
I don't know. It's
I
tough.
don't know.
But anyway,
Eh,
we will be
it
back
is
next
what it
week.
is.
And as always, reach out on Film Banter,
Good night. Please
the
be nice
Facebook
to each
page.
other.
Check us out on YouTube. And email us, filmbanter@gmail.com.
And if you want to see
We'll
my
see you next
incredible
week.
alien opening, where
Oh,
I
yes.
was, in fact...
Yeah, that's right.
My
You know,
alien...
A lot of you, as he was saying,
You missed my
you
alien
missed the
opening
beginning of the
where
show.
I pulled 3 anal probes out of my
does.
own person.
It's fun.
So,
check out the opening either
you
on the
might
Big
wanna
Chat
see that.
archive on our page, or check us out on YouTube in a day or so when
Just
this
go to-
episode will be on the
go
Film
to
Banter page on YouTube.
Film space banter on YouTube.
I have to
All
tell
our
you.
31 episodes will be
Help
there.
us build a YouTube page. Those of you on bidchat.com, the
Yeah,
streaming, you guys watch us bare bones. Check out what
Bare
I
bones,
do
dude.
in
Bare
post-production.
bones.
It's
I
a lot
know.
more fun than this live stream.
Yeah, bare bones.
Check it out on YouTube,
Yeah.
please, and share it on your social media platforms. Help us grow this. Whatever he said.
Whatever he said.
Anyway, we'll see you guys next week.
We'll see you next week.
We adore you.
We love you.
We love you.
Thank you for being here.
Good night.